What began as a friendly appearance to promote a faith-based film quickly spiraled into chaos when actor Mark Wahlberg clashed with co-host Whoopi Goldberg on The View, in a fiery exchange that stunned the live audience and ended with Wahlberg walking off the set mid-broadcast. It was supposed to be a light segment. Wahlberg had been invited to discuss his latest project, which focused on redemption, spirituality, and second chances. Wearing a neatly tailored suit and flashing his usual charisma, Mark came in all smiles, shaking hands with the panelists and even joking with Joy Behar. But from the moment Whoopi began steering the conversation toward deeper societal issues, things began to unravel. Wahlberg, a devout Catholic who has spoken openly about his past mistakes and his faith journey, shared how religion had grounded him. But when Whoopi questioned whether Hollywood's sudden turn toward faith-based stories was genuine or opportunistic, Wahlberg's smile faded. Asterisk at first, he tried to keep things cordial, saying faith had always been part of his life, and that telling meaningful stories didn't require approval from critics or mainstream platforms. Whoopi interrupted, pushing back. But isn't it convenient that Hollywood's talking about faith now, when it's trending? You think people aren't trying to cash in? Wahlberg responded stiffly. Not everything's about money. Of us actually believe in what we're doing. The temperature rose immediately. Sunny Hostin stepped in to shift the focus back to the film's plot, but Whoopi wasn't done. She brought up past interviews where Wahlberg had expressed regret about previous roles, asking, "So, do you regret glamorizing violence in your early films, or is that also part of the redemption arc?" Wahlberg, visibly irritated, replied, "I've owned my past 100 times, but I'm not going to sit here and apologize again just to fit your narrative." The audience tensed, sensing a storm brewing on live television. Asterisk from there, things moved from tense to openly hostile. Whoopi challenged Wahlberg's use of religion as a PR cloak, accusing him of cherry-picking morality based on what suited his career. Mark leaned forward, staring directly at her, and asked, "So being honest about my faith is now a problem?" Whoopi responded coolly, "It's not honesty I have a problem with, it's when people weaponize it to avoid accountability." That comment hit hard. Wahlberg's tone shifted from defensive to outright confrontational. "I've been held accountable," he shot back. "You think I haven't paid for my mistakes?" Whoopi didn't flinch. "You've been paid for them, Mark. There's a difference." A few audience members gasped. Others murmured nervously. Joy Behar tried to calm the room with a joke, but the fire between Mark and Whoopi couldn't be smothered. It was no longer a conversation. It was a confrontation that had moved far beyond the boundaries of daytime chatter. Asterisk, the clash reached a boiling point when Wahlberg accused the show of inviting him under false pretenses. "I was told we'd talk about the film," he said, turning to the producers off camera, "not get lectured." Whoopi, raising her voice slightly, replied, "No one lured you here, Mark. You came here to promote something, and that means answering real questions, not rehearsed lines." Wahlberg stood up, removed his microphone, and said, "I'm not going to sit here and be disrespected for living my life." As he walked off the set, co-host Alyssa Farah Griffin could be seen trying to reach for him, perhaps to get him to sit back down, but Wahlberg didn't turn around. The camera cut abruptly to commercial, but not before catching Whoopi sitting back in her chair, shaking her head with a mix of exhaustion and disbelief. The studio audience sat in stunned silence, unsure if what they'd seen was part of the plan or an unexpected breakdown of decorum. Asterisk, the backstage fallout was immediate. Wahlberg's team reportedly confronted producers about the tone of the segment, insisting that the conversation had crossed the line from journalism into antagonism. A source close to the actor claimed he felt ambushed and used for ratings. Meanwhile, producers at The View maintained that all guests are subject to honest dialogue and that nothing said was outside the bounds of what Wahlberg had previously discussed in interviews. Within hours, the confrontation was trending on social media, with hashtags like #WahlbergWalksOut and #WhoopiV's Mark lighting up timelines. Video clips from the segment were shared millions of times, with supporters on both sides debating who was in the right. Conservative commentators praised Wahlberg for standing up to what they called Hollywood hypocrisy, while progressive voices applauded Whoopi for challenging selective virtue signaling. The following day, The View addressed the incident. In its opening segment, Whoopi, without naming Wahlberg directly, said, "We ask real questions here. If you don't want to answer them, maybe this isn't your stage." She defended her approach, stating that public figures promoting personal narratives in the media should expect pushback. Joy Behar, while trying to play peacemaker, admitted it had gotten a little too hot, but said the tension only proved the power of honest discourse. Viewers were divided. Some felt the show had crossed a line by turning a promotional segment into a grilling. Others argued it was exactly what daytime TV needed: draw unfiltered moments that go beyond the usual fluff. Wahlberg remained silent for a few days, prompting speculation about whether he would address the incident publicly or let the media storm pass. Eventually, Wahlberg did issue a short statement through his publicist. He said he stood by everything he said and had no regrets about walking off. "Sometimes you have to know when a conversation stops being productive," the statement read. Made no mention of Whoopi by name, but emphasized that he wouldn't apologize for his beliefs or allow himself to be publicly shamed in the name of discourse. His statement was met with mixed reactions. His fans applauded him for taking a stand, while critics accused him of dodging difficult but fair questions. Several faith leaders chimed in, some praising his courage, others saying he missed an opportunity to demonstrate grace under pressure. In Hollywood circles, the event reignited an ongoing debate about how much personal belief actors should share publicly, and how willing they should be to defend those beliefs under scrutiny. The ripple effects extended beyond the show. Wahlberg reportedly canceled a few scheduled appearances, including a follow-up interview on a morning news program. He also postponed a charity event that had been tied to the film's release, citing a need to refocus. Meanwhile, The View experienced a noticeable spike in ratings, with millions tuning in for the viral segment and subsequent commentary. Media analysts discussed the incident for days, labeling it a culture clash in real time and a reflection of America's divided relationship with faith, fame, and forgiveness. YouTubers, podcasters, and bloggers dissected every word, every facial expression, and every interruption, turning the walk-off into a digital case study of celebrity media dynamics in 2025. For younger viewers, it became a meme. For older ones, it was a reminder of just how quickly even the most polished guests can come undone under pressure. As the weeks passed, the dust began to settle, but the memory of the exchange didn't fade. People continued to reference it during other celebrity interviews. "Don't Whoopi him" became a joke phrase among PR teams, warning their clients about hosts who asked tough questions. Wahlberg resumed promotional efforts, but noticeably avoided live interviews for a time, preferring pre-recorded segments or controlled podcast appearances. Whoopi carried on as usual, though insiders said she was unapologetically firm about her role. "I don't do fluff," she told one outlet. "I do truth." The segment was nominated months later for a Daytime Media Moment Award, not because it was polished or inspiring, but because it was real. It exposed the fragile boundary between promotion and reality, between faith and perception, between celebrity comfort zones and public accountability. In the end, the Mark Wahlberg walk-off became more than a media moment. It became a flashpoint in the cultural conversation. It raised questions about how faith is portrayed in entertainment, how talk shows balance respect with responsibility, and how even seasoned celebrities can find themselves unprepared for real dialogue. It reminded audiences that no matter how scripted things appear, the truth has a way of crashing through. And while Mark Wahlberg may have left the set that day, the conversation he walked away from only got louder. For Whoopi Goldberg, it was another chapter in a long history of unfiltered confrontation. For Wahlberg, it was a wake-up call that sincerity alone doesn't shield you from scrutiny. And for everyone watching, it was a moment when TV turned from polished promotion to something much messier and far more honest.